forward from Missouri, number 1, Michael Porter Jr.
With 17, that is a new career high for him. Morris inside. And Porter with the follow. And the crowd goes crazy.
This Monte, and the one thing he's shown all year that he's played it, he goes the offensive glass. I mean, he's not afraid. And in this league, you see a reason, just let him go. No one wants to block out.
We back. Michael Putback Jr. bringing us in to tonight's show. It is a Thursday. It's 8 o'clock, which means I am your host, and you are watching the DNBA show. My name is Brendan Vogt. Above me, it's Eric Weedham, also known as D-Line Co., also known as Excessive Giggler Man.
That's right, Excessive Giggler Man. Wait, am I known that way?
Yeah, there were some subtweets on Twitter today. To Eric's left, I figured this out and then I forgot it. It's Adam Maras. Adam, what's up, man?
We are presented by Manscaped.
Your balls will
thank you. There you go.
And seemingly not on a delay tonight with us in real time, the one, the only Harrison Wind. Harrison, what's up?
I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped. Those MPJ highlights got me pumped. Hopefully we see more of that.
I know. It's the highlights that allow me to, oh yeah, it's coming back. I'm ready.
It's coming back, but we've still got almost 2 months.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just a little bit of a ramp up.
My enthusiasm. Great. Well, we'll kill the time tonight by
Jesus, Harrison, the downer.
Unreal.
Talking to one of my favorite, most interesting friends, colleagues. Wish I got to talk to him more, but joining us on tonight's show from the DNVR staff, it is Mike Olson. Mike, what's up, brother? How are you, man?
Who are my balls thinking today? What's happening? Manscaped.
Yeah, your balls are thinking Manscaped.
They're thinking Manscaped for now. I'll let you know after this how the rest goes.
Yeah, we need the updates on that, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to put it in the article.
How about your mentals, man? How you holding up? It's we haven't talked a lot, but it's been an eventful few months, hasn't it?
It has been an eventful few months. It has been an eventful week. I know I have been watching from a distance all of what's been going on in Denver. I live in Los Angeles. I live about a half a block away from an area called the Fairfax District that you have probably seen in the news a fair little bit. So it has been an adventurous week, but all in all, I think everything is moving in the right direction.
Good. So, well, glad to hear you're safe and well, brother. Always a pleasure
to
have you
too.
with us.
Yeah.
Mike, some of you might know Mike. He was with Adam and I back at Denver Stiffs, but of course he's still writing with us here at DNVR, not just Nuggets. He's covering all the professional sports in his weekly column, The Weekend, which you can read on Fridays, and of course Saturdays, I guess, if you're feeling like it.
No, you have to read it on Fridays.
You have to read it on Fridays. I was always fuzzy on that to myself.
I thought you just had to read it over the weekend. Am I wrong?
At some point.
You read it at any time.
Don't read it on Sunday because some people think the weekend doesn't extend until Sunday.
That's
true.
true.
Good. Thanks, Harrison.
You wouldn't want to start the week with the weekend.
Which debate is that, sir?
When does the week start and when does it end?
So dumb.
It's a very important debate.
It is the right now. The days just blend into one another. The week typically starts on a Sunday, as far as I am concerned.
Oh,
so
my God.
yeah.
So really, Mike should be publishing his column on like Friday.
Yeah, right. So they have what? They have what? They just have just Saturday and Friday to read your.
He's
your
right.
column. Yeah.
It's true.
We've been right all along.
This your most recent column, catchy headline, the asterisks, 2S in that initial ass there.
Yeah, I put the dash in just in case people weren't getting it, but that might have been a little heavy-handed. So.
It doesn't work as it's funny. It's very heavy-handed in writing, but when I use it on a podcast, I'm not sure if the point's getting across. But you tackled the concept that many of us are sort of sifting our way through right now, which is sports are coming back, but modified, alternative sort of versions of what we're used to seeing, and the possibility of a real asterisk being labeled on this season and our eventual champions. So at the end of that column, Mike, you pose the question to your readers, what say you, and across the various sports? I mean, so I want to throw that same question back to you. As you look at the NBA and it looks like the way it's going to return, Does this count? Is this a real season, Mike?
I think if ever there has been an asterisk season in the NBA, this is it. There's a few others that definitely qualify. There's other. I talked about a few in the column as well. Hockey missed an entire season, almost missed over 50% of another, and almost shut that one down as well. Baseball had a very strange season similar to this, where it was split in two, and they did something really bizarre that year, where they took the winners of the first half and put them up against the winners of the second half, and everybody pretty much lost their minds because the teams that actually had the best record didn't make it in, right? So I think,
it's terrible.
I think it's crazy how this is going to all come together. I think if I'm one of the teams that is not traveling to Orlando, I'm kind of going, I guess I'll see you guys in like 10 months then or whatever. But
right.
So absolutely, there is an asterisk to this season. If it's the Denver Nuggets bringing home a trophy, do I care? No, not at all. Get it, bring it, take it. Yeah, I want to see that come home. And if they had a couple, then maybe I'd feel a little differently about it. If I was a Warriors fan or something,
right?
Maybe I'd be looking at this going, whatever. But yeah, I'll take the trophy. Thank you.
I mean, as Murray Center points out there in that comment, however weird or strange this may be, it's a somewhat even playing field. Everyone has to navigate this same thing. So whoever comes out of it is, I guess, a deserving champion. But, of course, what we're really talking about is the way the public views and talks about them. We're talking about legacy. So, how appropriate would it be for a team like the Nuggets to win that title and no one ever cares? But I don't. I'm with you, Mike. Like, you know what I mean? If you're a Nuggets fan, you take it all day.
So, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I think I was just going to say, I think that's exactly how I feel about it as well, Harrison. Yeah, keep going, man.
Well, I was just going to say, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I wrote this today. If I am the teams in this playoff tournament, if I am the league, I am selling this championship as a badge of honor. This is the toughest road that any team has had to go through to win a championship. We're going to be sequestered at Disneyland. We're not going to be able to leave our hotels. Who knows if our loved ones are going to be there. It's a lot easier to just pack up and go home. Like, I would sell this if I'm the league as this is a badge of honor and the toughest championship ever for whoever wins it.
The Thunderdome championship? I like it.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I feel like it could maybe flip from an asterisk to that.
I mean,
that's part of what I'm writing about tomorrow. I think you make a great point. I think one of the best things the league can do now, and I think why they've taken so long to do this, is they've got to figure out a way to sell this story, right? They've got to figure out a way to make this really palatable and package this up so it's a, wow, I want to see that, not a, well, I mean, I think we've all seen like the wrestling with nobody in the stands, and you just kind of sit there for a couple of seconds going, this is awful, right? Mm-hmm. So they've got some packaging to do, and I think that's their next step, is how do they figure this out? Exactly right.
I do wonder, though, and I, of course, say this respectfully for Adam, Mike, you guys have seen more sports. You've been around a little bit longer. How have your perspective... Old. Yeah, I'm trying to call you old, and I did it in the most offensive way possible.
You've seen a lot.
So much, maybe too much. How has your perspective changed on, like, those asterisk seasons in the past? I mean, like, and the further the sports world has gotten away from them. I mean, do you guys have any more perspective on this and how time changed how we look at these teams?
I just want the record to state Mike is older than me by a fair amount. So I'm going to yield to him on the oldness.
How old are you, Mike? If you don't mind me asking.
Put him on the spot. Make up any.
I also forgot Eric's old.
I was just going to say, like, I'm probably the oldest one here. That's the greatest. I love that. That's the greatest part about this. Everyone forgets how old I am all the time. It's incredible.
Jean jackets, man.
Wow, McConn's rookie year. I saw that. That's a low blow. I am working on 52 in this month. Yes, I believe I win this one. My first asterisk year was something that I was a big fan of. I grew up out here the first 10 years of my life, and I was a big Dodgers fan. And they had lost repeatedly to the Yankees until that split season I was talking about earlier. And they were the ones that actually kind of, everybody came in the same way we were talking about, everybody equal, everybody complains because the Reds with the best record didn't even make the playoffs that year. But that was the first year the Dodgers finally pushed all the way through. And similar to what I was talking about earlier, My team had a ring. I did not care at all. That was cool. Yeah, I was good. So.
I think the first 3 Patriots Super Bowls all have asterisks to them, to be honest.
Why is that? Because you just don't want them to count.
Yeah, they're all
you want them to?
BS the whole way.
I mean, this is like, the real like potential tragedy and ultra asterisks here is that you could win this like super bizarre tournament where everybody is arguing about the validity of it, and then you like can't really have a parade.
Yeah.
It just sort of, you like come back, everyone's like on a citywide Zoom call.
It's going to be broadcast on altitude exclusively on DirecTV, and there's going to be like 60 people watching.
I mean, what is it going to be like celebrating at Disney World with the trophy and confetti coming down, and it's just you and like 30 people?
Yeah, they're like, we're staying at Disney World.
A couple of guys from the MLS team, like, that's pretty sick, dude. That's nice.
Can you imagine how pissed the Jokic would be when they're like, okay, you won? He's like, okay, so I go home now? It's like, no, you gotta come to Denver. We're gonna do like a Zoom parade. He's like,
can
are
you
you
go on
kidding me?
Sports Center 14 times? Yeah.
Well,
no, thank you.
And I mean, I just saw in the ESPN article today, he doesn't have long to be pissed, right? Because if they win the championship, he's got a few weeks before he's supposed to be back anyway. So that's going to make life interesting too.
We are definitely going to spend a lot of time talking about that in tonight's show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also wonder too, in the realm of more insufferable dialogue in NBA world, like how this affects personal legacy. Like maybe 20 years from now we talk about the 1920 champion as just that, but if LeBron wins this championship, does it count when we hold up his 4 to MJ's 6? And you know what I mean?
The heart of what vote is really concerned about.
Yeah, that's really what I want to know.
It's true, though. That's going to come up every time.
That will come up every day.
I'm so old that when he said 1920, I didn't realize he meant 2019, 2020. I was like, wait, I'm not that old. 1920, my God. Come on.
But I get the real question I was going to ask, do you guys think the players care? Like if you're LeBron, you know, do you view this ring any different?
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, look, you can only climb the mountains in front of you, and this is the only thing. This is the only thing any player can do this year is win this championship. So, at a certain point, you just have to like get past that. But there's no doubt he's like, all of these guys are just like, man, this one, no matter what happens, it's still always going to have a little bit something weird to it. Now, the one thing I will say is, people forget. We're talking about LeBron. He already has one championship in a lockout season, in a shortened season. People, and it kind of gives you good perspective because nobody ever talks about it because it's not that important. At the end of the day, it really is a championship, and you move on. This one, unfortunately, I think will be the one we don't fully move on from.
Mm-hmm. I'll bet that all of the teams who lose this one will be the ones playing the head games, sort of the Phil Jackson head games of, it didn't matter, doesn't count. You had the advantage because of whatever, ... right? So.
Yeah, there's a difference between like championship teams and iconic teams, and I think of like the 2011 Mavericks to Mavericks fans is a special team that just lives on forever, and I think for Nuggets fans, this team would live on forever. I think Trailblazers, the Bill Walton year, for Portland fans, that's like an epic, lightning in a bottle type season. So I think if the Nuggets were to do this, I think everybody in Denver, that's the diehard Denver fans. I don't know if they're going to pick up a bunch of new ones along the way, but the diehard ones will be like, you know what? There was something special about that. The DNVR bar opened. Yeah. We won a championship.
I'm envisioning the championship parade going from Pepsi Center down 17th, and then you hook a right on Colfax or hook a left on Colfax, and then you just end at the DNVR bar.
Yeah, I think that'll probably happen. That seems pretty likely.
They'll funnel them right to us, I'm sure. Do you expect the NBA fans, the NBA universe to embrace this? So not so much from the asterisk perspective, but from the this is fun, I'm enjoying this perspective. I guess Mike will go to you first because you're our special guest.
Special. I think they will embrace it, and I think for two reasons. I think first off, I think the league has put a lot of time and thought into this, and I think by the time they roll it out, there will be at least something of a polished enough product that it will be interesting. But simultaneously, I think we have all been starved for months for anything, and right at the moment, like a guy crawling across the desert looking for some water. If somebody
Exactly.
put a shot glass out in front of me, I
Some
would.
manna from heaven.
Yeah, it's time. So yeah, I think on both fronts, people are going to be ready, and I think they're going to be excited about it.
You
Yeah,
know what
we-
this actually reminds me of more than anything is the All-Star game this year. Do you remember how much everybody pissed and moaned about the Elam ending? And there was two complaints I hated. One was it was breaking with tradition. We have this tradition, and it's breaking
The
that.
All-Star game.
All-Star game
Yeah,
tradition.
the tradition is nobody tries, and it's really dumb.
Yeah.
Changes
and
every
it's-
year.
My tradition of never watching this is in
But everybody
real
likes to
jeopardy.
complain. Everybody likes to complain, so they complained about that. And it turned it out. And then the other thing people complained about was this is really confusing. Hold on, there's math, and then we add these 20 points, and no one can figure it out. When in truth, it was super easy to figure out. People just and I feel like it's the same with this. When the news dropped, a lot of people were complaining, saying, "Oh, the NBA, does anybody understand this? It's so complex. It's so easy." And I think once we get into it, where every game matters, I think people are going to be like, "Oh, this is awesome. You mean there's 4 do-or-die games this week for my team? That's awesome. That's great."
Yeah, and I mean, kind of like what Mike was saying, and whether or not you are able to attract the casual fan, like this is almost as close to a complete captive audience as you will ever get for a sporting event. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you just look at that Tom Brady golfing, whatever that was, I mean, that got huge ratings because people just were like, I want to watch anything. And like, if
Marble
it's
racing.
legitimate sports, right. And the nice thing here is that it's not starting from scratch. Like there's already these baked in storylines that people can jump into and just get them kickstarted. So I think it'll be amazingly popular. It's just whether or not, the validity I think will always be called into question just because that's just what the nature of sport debate is that you just need to find some little loophole and then you just live there forever to try and discredit any whatever. Like I was trying to think like what the most valid conclusion would be in people's eyes. Like if it is LeBron or isn't LeBron or if
If it
Giannis
is
gets his
LeBron,
first one.
I think
like,
if LeBron gets it, it will be like 100% legit.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but there's definitely going to be then for the detractor. That I mean, you have that ammunition forever. So once there's enough time that has passed, it will just become the 2021 championship, and that's just what it'll be. But it'll take some time to get there for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't even know how to like project in my mind what these games without fans look like. And like how
so weird.
atmosphere will build, which I think when an NBA game goes occurs on its brightest timeline, the hype factor it's so through the roof. I mean, I know there can be stinker games throughout the season, but when both teams are feeling it, there's serious momentum, the crowd's into it. Back-to-back ridiculous threes, like there's nothing really like it. And I just wonder if we'll be starved of any of that without the fans. The players are essential. Players are what make this happen, but the fans are integral to that experience that we all love.
Can we get like some some holographic like project a 2K crowd onto the background or something? I feel like we have this technology. We brought Tupac back for a concert. Can't we? Can we make this work for us?
It's just like 20,000 holographic.
yeah.
Tupacs
They're all just like, yeah, I'll do it. It'd just be a bunch of me's. Yay.
I think I
You
saw. I'm not
watched- I
sure
mean, you
what
watched all the-
what league it was, but they projected like fans sitting at home, kind of like Roger Goodell's living room on the NFL draft, where like I thought that was kind of lame actually, but
Now that I talk about it, it's
Right, I
terrible.
don't want
but
that
like
at all.
instead of booing him like they do at the drafts, they had a bunch of fans on a Zoom call booing him, and I think there was some talk about the league could do that for games.
Boo Roger Goodell. I'm down.
All right, Win, it's all you, brother.
All right, guys, we've got DraftKings first up here, and
yeah.
we've got UFC 250 this weekend to start the June sports calendar off with a bang. A lot of awesome fights that
Eric
you
can
can
attest
bet
to
on.
this. UFC is so much more fun when you put money on every single fight.
Well, I don't know
yeah.
that. I don't know that to be truthful just yet. I have money on the fight coming up, and so I anticipate. Ryan has said that he's used
I thought you were in on it too.
No, I'm going to be, but if it's anything like what it does to golf, I'm ready for this.
You have money on the Nunes fight, right?
I did. I got that bet $10.
Not Devin Nunes fight.
Yeah, the Amanda Nunes bet $10 to win $50. I'm
Yeah.
running that hard.
So DraftKings is offering 5-1 odds on that Nunes fight. Normally, a $10 bet on a fighter of Nunes' caliber would only net $2. but for a limited time, DraftKings Sportsbook is offering $10 to win $50. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DNVR when you sign up. All new users can get a sign-up bonus for up to $1,000. On top of that, DraftKings Sportsbook is offering no-brainer odds on Nunes winning the big fight this weekend, $10 to win $50. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Bonus is comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires a 25 times play-through. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
They're roasting you, Eric. I don't know if you see this.
Well, they're not roasting me specifically. They're not roasting me specifically.
It's a hard stay away, apparently.
Well, that's what Buckets is saying, that this is not as cut and dry as you would be led to believe. But
look, we want you to listen to our DraftKings reads and our segments. We want you to download DraftKings. Do not spend your money where we tell you where to put your money.
I did it.
I can't stress that enough. We have no clue what we're talking about.
For sure. Also, guys, let's make sure we're drinking Mile High City Copper Lager this weekend when we're watching the fights, when we're playing WGT, when we're doing anything this weekend. Maybe we're golfing for real. You can get it at Davidson's. You can get it at Breck Brew. All your local liquor stores as well.
All
right, guys. A flurry of news from Adrian Wojnarowski today. The NBA has approved the 22-team format to finish the season in Orlando, Walt Disney World to be specific. A 29-1 vote. One organization was not feeling this format.
I like to believe it was Yusuf Nurkic personally who vetoed
it. It was the Portland Trailblazers.
It was Nurkic.
Win, do you want to just sort of take us through what we learned today, what we know today that we didn't yesterday?
I want to play Jokic. He's too
before we put our tinfoil hats on about why Portland are cowards.
Yeah, well, I think what we got today was a little bit of the timeline, and I think we thought it was going to be a whirlwind, and we found out today it's definitely going to be a whirlwind while we're at Disney World, and then you might call it a a tropical storm. This thing's going to be crazy, and then the abridged offseason is going to be even crazier. But they're going to get this whole thing done in no more than 74 days, pretty much from July 31st. And then the latest that Game 7 can end is October 12th. So next season's training camp is apparently going to try to start on November 10th.
This is the big news.
With a possible opening night on December 1st.
What the heck are they talking about there? That's ridiculous.
So, by off-season, they mean... couple of
3 weeks.
Couple of weeks.
Here's 27 days.
Yeah.
And
that's
then,
insane. That's a bad idea.
Did they finish the timeline all the way to the end of that next season? Would it be abbreviated? Would it be?
Great point. Yeah.
Because that's my next. So yeah, there's the rush part of this, which we'll talk about. But that was sort of my first thought: are we starting in December going forward, or is this a 60-game season?
Everything I've read about it today says that they assume that the players' union is just going to pretty much slide on this unanimously, and that is my one big question. I can't imagine that the players' union doesn't have a few concerns about a less than 4 week break between championship and preseason. That seems unlikely.
Yeah,
these guys want their summers, and I don't think what just happened really counted as summer for those
Well,
guys.
I feel like maybe the league is, because I put this out today, but if the season resumes on July 31st, there will have been 142 days in between games. And if you flash back to last summer, between Game 6 of the finals and the first preseason game, there were only 112 games.
No way.
So,
are we really past that number?
So
we will be.
Yeah,
We will be.
We will be. We're going to have 30 more days during this break than you usually have during an NBA offseason.
That's insane. So how long?
Oh my gosh!
Is it what is this period we're talking about where teams report to a training camp and then the playoffs start? How long do they have to get ready?
It's 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, it seems like training camps are going to start around June 30th or July 1st. I don't know if that's going to be a traditional training camp. I feel like it might just be kind of a dumbed down version where everybody's just kind of in the gym. And then all teams are flying to Orlando on July 7th, where I think a more formal training camp will take place. And then that gives you 3 weeks before the restart of the season, where there's going to be some exhibition games and whatnot.
That sounds like they're all getting together to go to space camp together. Like, we're all flying out on this day to Orlando, and then we're going to get picked up on a bus.
It's like a high school AAU team.
Totally.
So
it sounds
funny.
awesome. I went in on this. How can I do? Like, I'll get tested.
And if training camps are happening outside of Orlando and then they send them there and there are folks coming from parts of the country that have to spend 2 weeks in quarantine when they get there, do they get to train on the 7th? How does all that work too? So
yeah, well, it's kind of up in the air because like right now Florida has a state law where people flying in from states including New York and New Jersey have to quarantine for 14 days.
Right.
So I don't know if the league gets around that. I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Sure.
Like if everybody's tested beforehand, but I don't know. I think a lot of this stuff is up in the air. It's still up in the air.
Certainly seems like the safety details and guidelines, like these are the things we know the least about, right?
Agreed.
Like I know their hands are tied, but I would call BS if they were to tell us that safety is their first priority.
Yeah.
Well, they are. Well, so that's part of the news that came out today. They're testing every single day. They haven't said for certain which tests they're going to be. Of course, we know that the tests at the moment that we know about vary wildly. So, but they are going to test, and I don't think they're going to be doing the nose swap test every single day. But they'll test players allegedly every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that it's funny how testing is like somehow replaced the idea of prevention.
But
Right.
I mean,
but it's like
because you can't prevent. So
no,
they
I
have
know,
to
but
be
it's
like, let's catch it. And
that's how.
contain it.
Yeah, but that's just like how it. Yeah, exactly. But that's the place that we're in, where people are like, "Oh, well, we're testing," and it's like, "Cool." So you just find out they have it. Like, is there a way you can make sure they don't get it in the first place, or
So
no?
I'll be honest, because of how much everything's, some major things have happened over the last week, and I think all of our collective attention have been on other things. But as I'm reading the report today on ESPN, it was actually the first thing I thought about was, oh, so players are definitely going to get this, and and I think it's inevitable. And I wonder if the NBA over the next 6-7 weeks, as they're ramping up towards this, I wonder if they really try to prepare you for that. I heard somebody. It might have been Zach Lowe on the podcast today with Kevin Pelton say that 5% of the league has gotten coronavirus. I haven't heard that many reports. That means there's a lot more people that got it that they didn't report about or didn't, that wasn't released.
Right.
I just think players are going to get this. They're going to try their hardest not to, and I think they're going to have the mind frame of Adam Silver even sort of started prepping people for this. Players are going to get it. They're going to be pulled out, and that's just the way it is. If we want to finish it, it's going to have to finish that way.
It's
don't you feel like? Okay.
We just all have this perspective of what effect does this have on the lives of these healthy, sort of like, affluent people, right, with resources at their disposal. But, there's at-risk people here too. There's coaches that are going to be there. Some of them older. And Tim Reynolds tweeted out an hour ago, Adam Silver says it is possible that, quote, certain coaches, unquote, may not be able to be on the bench when play resumes at Disney in order to protect them. Greg Popovich is 71, Mike D'Antoni is 69, Alvin Gentry is 65. Woj said he asked D'Antoni about the possibility of this older group of NBA coaches being required to wear masks on the bench. D'Antoni said, I'm sure they want to keep everyone safe, but to start singling people out with more risk, well, I would hope they wouldn't want to get into that.
Don't you feel like there's like 65 to 75% of the league was probably exposed to coronavirus this weekend also?
Oh, are you saying
being at rallies and stuff?
Being at rallies,
Yeah.
I mean, really, like in like just sort of a perfect storm sort of scenario. Like,
well, I'll be perfectly honest. I mean, I was in Denver up at Capitol Hill, and that was one of my first and lingering thoughts the entire time was, I've been avoiding this situation for 3 months, religiously, and then here I am standing here in a crowd of people, and half of them are coughing over this or that, and I was thinking, it's definitely, again, like I said, we've moved our attention to other things, and I think rightfully so. But when you step back and are like, oh yeah, there's all these things, especially reading that report, I was sitting there going, oh yeah, somebody's going to bring this in, it's going to spread probably, and I hope that players are going to take it seriously. Of course, we've seen videos now of a lot of players working out in gyms. It almost seems like more and more videos have come out in the last week of like, oh, so-and-so went to the Pro-Am or whatever game and played in front of 50 people. Like
Trae Young played last night in a game.
But Trae Young's out. So Trae Young apparently played last night because he knew, like, oh, I'm not in this thing, so I can get a little bit more fast and loose. But we have just seen pickup videos going around, making the circulation now of guys playing with like 15 other random people, and it's like, okay,
Dude, coronavirus has been canceled. Like people are just like it's over. Like we're not like paying attention to it anymore. It's done. It's done. And you're like,
it's why like I'm so excited when these details come out and we've got a firm timeline for return to play. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, if somebody gets it and this thing spreads, they're gonna have to put the season on hold maybe. And if they have to stop it at all, they're probably not restarting it. So there's a huge possibility out there. We just don't finish this thing. And Mike, I think that's a legit possibility that we all have to be thinking about, and I'm sure the league's definitely thinking about it as well.
That would be an absolute disaster,
Complete
unmitigated disaster for the NBA. Not just because they wouldn't get a season and fans wouldn't get it, but the logistics of figuring out how to rebound from that would be an absolute nightmare.
And if they have to take another break, the timeline's scrunched enough on that back end already as it is.
it would just be done until there was a vaccine. That would just be the end. Like,
I'm sure we're more.
Go ahead.
So I'm sorry. I'm sure we're more medically advanced than this at this point. But 100 years ago, the NHL tried to have the Stanley Cup right during the flu, and kind of blew all this off because they said we got strong, healthy guys that can handle all of this, and somebody died and they didn't ever have Game 6. So
wow.
You don't know.
That's really crazy.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
That's really crazy.
You never want an old guy on the show that knows stuff. What a bummer.
I was there, actually.
Got MJ Mike. Come on, bring it back.
You could have said anything, and we'd be like, "Oh yeah." They're like, and they skated right through. It was the greatest championship they ever had.
How come I got MJ?
Yeah, what the F?
All right, Kel, you're out.
I was going to ask you guys how confident you are that this does happen before Harrison took us there.
What happens?
I mean, like how confident we are that this season unfolds as they've drawn it up.
I definitely think that. So here's another prediction I'll make, and I hope I'm wrong with it. I do wonder, and I do sort of suspect somebody will contract it over the next 7 weeks, which is basically before games begin, and how the league handles that, I think, will be really, really interesting. Because if you go through all the work and you bring teams in, and then it's like, oh, this team right now is a maybe go, I think that'll be the real sort of turning point. Now, let me just say this, and I don't mean to like undermine coronavirus or try to. I know that our school, our preschool for our kids just got new guidelines, and they're now accepting all kids. And the guidelines have been extremely strict and extremely they've been slow to release anything. They closed everything down. And I do wonder, and I think Jared Polis has been pretty on top of reading the new data and sort of analyzing what's come out and adjusting accordingly. He hasn't been like a hard line, this is the way or that the way. He's evolved as it's gone. And I do think with the new guidelines being so much less restrictive, I hope that there's confidence from the people that are making these decisions that, hey, we're at least in a temporary, if not permanent, moment of a little bit, we're a little less frightened than maybe we were 2 months ago, and understand how to contain this a little bit more. I hope that's the case.
For sure. But what Mike is saying is that you should still be filled with terror. So you're lying to yourself is what Mike is saying.
I'm already a wuss. All you have to say is nose swab, and I'm like, did it once, and I'm never again.
You did that once?
I have had a nose swab once. You couldn't pay me enough to go do that every day.
It really is that bad.
I bet we could. I bet we could.
So many people.
It is. I'm not sure, man. It's literally like they're trying to tickle your brain. It's you just keep going. Forget it.
Tickle your brain. That sounds fun.
That does sound nice. Who doesn't like a nice tickle?
I do think there's going to be an eye-opening moment for everybody when players do go back to their facilities and they do test, like everybody, because I assume there will be a test before everybody gets to Orlando. There's probably going to be a lot of people who test positive in that first test when they get recalled to their facilities in, 3 weeks or so.
Best player on like 4 different teams. And they're like, all right, well, maybe we shouldn't do this. We have these dates, but the Players Association theoretically still has to approve these, right? Still has to negotiate them. Are we anticipating that to go smoothly? Mike, you touched on this earlier. I mean, are there
everything I read says they expect them to.
Yeah,
I keep hearing they expect the players to just ratify it almost just matter of fact, and that surprises me, just given what is a part of the agreement.
There's so much money involved. There's so much money involved.
That must be it. That's got to be it.
I mean, did you read? It's they're currently on pace to have 25% of their salary withheld, and if they don't complete this 8-game little preamble or prelim to the tournament, then they would lose something like 40% of their salary for the year.
Which is
it's like that,
why I
which
was
is like
curious
that big.
about next year's dates, though, and like when it wraps up and when it ends and how long that season is. Because like if I'm a player, before I agree to any timelines, am I getting all my checks next year? How did the year after that? So
this is the accurate, by the way. What's been negotiated is this end of the season, so that's what we expect to get approved tomorrow by the Players Association. But as far as next season, that was all fluid. I think was the word
Right,
they used to describe it. It's all they're hoping for the Adam Silver is hoping for this December 1st or whatever, but I have a strong feeling that'll get pushed back. But the fact that it was December 1st is still meaningful, because I thought even when they proposed that, I was like, well, what's the point of this? That's so short. But maybe that does hint at, hey, they're going to make Christmas. Maybe that was the starting point to say, hey, we need Christmas. We have to start on Christmas. So it's only going to be, instead of a 4-week off season, it's going to be a 6-week, and you guys just have to, everybody has to just agree to that or take less money.
Right. Yeah, no, of course, we're talking about the timeline for next season, not this season. So, yeah, I don't know, man. My confidence is pretty low at this point on this going off without a hiccup. But
you know what I'm confident about, though, Brendan?
What's that?
Oh, boy.
I'm confident Jokic is coming back to the NBA with a 6-pack.
Oh.
Yes,
Six.
we're hearing a lot about this.
8-pack maybe, really. I don't know.
Hearing
if
about
how many-
there yet.
Oh.
He's got
I
a really
think
long
we're going-
torso. He could definitely have
you're headed in the
more
wrong
packs.
one pack.
A 14-pack?
He could have a 12-pack easily. He's got the surface area to handle it.
Yeah, some kind words from Mike Malone and Tim Connolly regarding Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray's sort of discipline and their commitment to maintaining that physique, that shape that they're in. We've seen a couple of images of Jokic's surface. He looks pretty skinny. Tim Connolly, what did he say, Adam? He looks beach ready. He might even have some abs.
He not even said might. He said he does. He said, I saw him without his shirt on the other day. He has some abs. Wow. So, we'll see. We'll see. Tim Connolly is a great hype man, though. You have to hand it to him.
What if maybe
NBA
he means
hype.
he means 1930s beach ready, where you wore those like full, like a man, like a one piece with like the stripes.
Out of shape, in shape guy. From the
Yeah.
It's going up.
His stonk is through the roof.
I do. It has been long enough. Like in theory,
Yeah.
that someone could have gotten absolutely ripped since we last seen.
Yeah,
Have you guys
totally.
ever heard of the tattoo bug?
No.
It's where you get a tattoo and then you immediately want a second one.
Oh yeah.
And then you want a third. It's like you can't stop. Once you start doing it, you're just like, what if I think Jokic might have the workout bug?
It's all about
Oh, wow.
inertia, baby.
If
It's all about
He's
inertia.
like, he's so into it, he can't stop. They're like, Yoke, you need to take a day off. He's like, I can't. These crunches, just doing
They're
these
like-
crunches, man.
They're like, why didn't you do this in the actual off season? He's like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm into this now, though.
He didn't have the bug back then, but he's got it now.
Right?
This is a theory I'm working on. It's not
He's
fully
caught
formed
the
yet.
bug, is what you're saying. I don't
They're
know
gonna
if
have
that's
to
what you
make
wanna say.
Nuggets are gonna have to make sure they're in a hotel with an adequate weight room just to
Satiate this
fit
animal.
Jokic's new requirements.
That's why they
I'm
need
gonna
to get the first overall seed so they can pick their hotel first.
I can picture him skinny. I am having a hard time picturing him ripped, and so I am sadly going to say that I'm not sure there's 6 in the pack. I might have to kind of
I'm
You pilfered
picturing
it
back it off a little bit.
it's Disney World. It's 2 a.m. LeBron's down there just doing curls. Jokic is like doing slightly heavier curls.
Yeah, just looking
what
over.
The bench press. He's like, "Are you done with that? Cool. I'm just gonna add 45 on each side."
And it's like,
do a couple reps here.
I've been
ESPN alert.
trying to tell you guys, like, for months. The tricep was coming in. It really was. I'm serious.
Yeah, but then we get the alert that's like, Nikola Jokic out with torn biceps muscle.
I know. My tinfoil take is he should never lift weights, but it's fine.
Beaston has my back. The workout bug is real. That's why
This
his
is
name's
coming from a
Beaston.
man that looks like he cannot stop doing arm days. Beaston. Just perpetual arm and chest day for him.
What else is
Over
there?
under abs for Nikola Jokic.
Ooh.
I'll set it at 1.5.
1.5.
Mike, are you buying what Tim Connolly's selling?
Boy, that's a tough line, dude. I will say
Ernest
I will
Connolly
say
analysis.
barely over. I'm going to say he clears that by a half an ab.
Okay.
I think there's
Just
2
got
of them
two
hanging out in
the
there
line
somewhere.
down the middle.
I'm not sure they're next to
Oh,
each
yeah.
other. They may be.
Oh
they may
yeah,
be
is that
sort
how's
of-
that?
Or it's
Two
the
abs?
two
Just-
that-
yeah, you just have the 2 on
They
the
might just be the ribs, actually, but no one's really sure.
Yeah, all we know is that his stomach is lumpy. Is that
2. I'll give you 2.
Eric, what are you taking?
Ooh, I think I might have to go over. I'm buying what Tim Conley is selling. I love the idea of a ripped Nikola Jokic. I will go with him to the beach. I'll be there so he can look even better by comparison. Let's go.
I'm taking the under. I don't think he's going to have any abs, guys. I'm going to keep it 100.
I'm buying it. I think Jokic got the workout bug. I think, you know what? He's like, what? I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
It's quarantine. Might as well work out. You know, let's do it. You know, Jokic has a brother that's like really into fitness. Why not? You know,
It's true.
We know quarantine. We've been stuck around with the same people, you know, your family or whatever. You've been there for the whole time. So if you're there with somebody that just loves to work out, and you're like, you know what, I've kind of enjoyed working out lately. I'm buying it.
The bottom two are the toughest.
And his brothers could easily like bully him into working out, which I like that. I like the idea of being bullied into bettering yourself.
I feel like every player on the Nuggets is going to come back ripped. Maybe every player in the league is going to come back ripped. What have these guys been doing? They haven't been doing anything, man. They've been working out.
They're in the best shapes of their lives.
Working out all day.
We should check out
how it's
Instagram.
gonna go. This is like the old Kobe story where it's like, and I went home and then I slept and I came back and he was still there.
And Jokic turns his Pokemon hat backwards as he walks away.
Yeah, he has a new shirt that says, "I paused my intense workout to be here."
We might have to make that shirt.
Yeah, okay, cool.
It's funny, man. He really does. He goes away in the summer and he gets really thin. That actually seems to be a pattern. And then he comes back and throws some weight on for the season. But it does seem like he overcompensated in November and has learned something since.
I think we might have one of these like epiphany moments where we realize that Jokic's weight gains have been completely and 100% intentional and the result of an entire offseason of hard work, only to get shamed. And he's like, what? I worked hard to get this big. Watch, I'll show you.
He's been lifting his ass off.
Yeah, exactly. Just eating and eating.
Poor
he
Jokic.
Want to.
Poor Jokic. Like if Jokic was a young, like it was somebody's daughter, and we were talking about his body this much, it'd be like the whole world would just be like thrown out. You can't talk about somebody's body this much. That's all we talk about with Jokic.
Truly believes that. She's like, it's so weird that you talk about his body at all. Like, who cares?
It is weird. It's absolutely weird, but it's not as weird as if it was a teenage girl that we were talking about.
That's my point, though.
Like equivalency, it's not fair.
No, it's not there. But I'm saying if it was,
it would be very weird.
Really quick. Get us out of that one.
But how exciting is it that whether there's abs or not, that in shape Jokic is coming back? Because I don't think there was a guy that was more dominant in last season's playoffs.
Nope.
Period. End of sentence.
Nope.
So
I think you could argue he was a top 3 player.
Definitely over the first 2 rounds. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
Ooh, Jokic on the body issue. Come on.
Baby.
Give us some odds on this next year. Body issue. Come on.
100%.
Could we put that into DraftKings maybe?
Yeah.
Custom line?
The body issue. He might be the cover.
I'll say this, just like a little dash of actual reporting as a treat. I'm told he's cut down on the it's the portions. I'm told he eats way less at a time, and he's very committed to that.
We are definitely getting into weird territory.
Yeah.
Portion
I
control.
heard it was too much saturated fat. Not fat. It was the saturated fats in the sugar intake that combined.
From what I understand, he's eating fewer pies.
He was a late snacker. That was his fault.
Polyunsaturated Coca-Cola. What?
All right. I got nothing. I need to read. I need to reset. I need some music.
Take us away. Oh man, we need to find somebody for the steps, don't we? All right, I'm gonna reach out in the
Probably do.
in the lounge. Anybody want to play?
Yeah,
the
come
steps?
through. Face
It's
the
like
steps,
you're
you
guaranteed
cowards.
winner in the steps these days with Brett gear.
Another set of easy questions on the steps today. General NBA trivia, not just Nugget-specific trivia.
The only thing you have to lose is your dignity, which you most assuredly will. So come on.
We've already done
All right, guys. We had to open a new clubhouse on WGT because we had so many people sign up. So we have a new DNVR clubhouse. It's just DNVR 2. That's what the clubhouse is called. So if you didn't get in the main clubhouse, get in that one. You'll still be signed up for all the tournaments, same prizes, same things all around. So download WGT from DNVRgolf.com. Register for the DNVR 2 clubhouse, and no tournament this weekend, but a tournament the weekend after that. And also, guys, you can get 20%
I haven't
off.
played nearly enough WGT lately, man. I need.
I was
to
just
get
gonna
back into
say-
it. Who wants to play? Somebody challenge me.
I'll challenge you. The greatest thing about WGT is that it has convinced Adam that he will be good at real golf.
Can I tell you guys something? I'm
It's
for real
so-
going to get clubs. I'm going. I'm telling you. I texted my golf buddy this week, and I was like, you know what? I'm ready.
You're gonna be
tearing
so-
up this video game. I'm ready for real golf.
You're going to be
this
so
is gonna be
disappointed
amazing.
when a swing power bar doesn't show up when you stand on the
Yeah,
tee.
exactly. Like, I don't know how hard I'm supposed to swing here.
I want
Dude,
to see how
I
far
wagered-
the club goes when you let go of that first club, man. I want to see
You
how far
golf,
that
Mike?
thing flies. I am a fierce putter, but no, I've got a set of clubs that does not see a lot of action, basically.
Dude, so I see this comment on here. WGT is so smart. This is what happened is I had like a 30-day streak going. And then I dropped my streak, and I just said, it's like I haven't been consistent since. I'm so mad at the game for when I went camping.
I wagered all of my coins on a match, and I missed the putt to win by an inch. And I cracked Adam. You know that phone you gave me as a gift?
Screw this, man.
I need a little break from WGT.
I think I might vlog my progression in real golf, though. That might-
Oh, I am going to be
Please
there
don't.
for every step of the way. I
Every
cannot
do. I'm
wait.
telling you, it's gonna be.
I cannot
incredible.
wait. It's going to be
I'm
incredible.
gonna go get some clubs. We're gonna golf.
Oh, baby,
Let's
yes,
do it.
let's
do it.
go.
I just
DNVR
wanna
golf
see.
seems inevitable.
I'll caddy.
Also, guys, we're still in this read. 20% off Strava Craft Coffee when you use the code DNVR20 online at StravaCraftCoffee.com. Of course, Strava Craft Coffee, packed with CBD, can help alleviate a lot of the problems, maybe some of the stress you've got in your life right now. Purchase it online for 20% off when you use the code DNVR20. Thank you, Kyle.
I was gonna say because I see these comments coming in on YouTube. Guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, especially when sports get back. All the new videos going to start going up on there. You don't want to be on.
Well,
I like
guys,
that
it's
we got really creative in the naming convention. DNVR2 is, I mean, hey,
yeah.
we really went hard on that one.
Brandon really came through on that one. He was like,
Guys, it's been tough on the internet lately. A lot of rough news, and it's you can't look away. So we're gonna try to brighten things up by letting Eric just fumble his way through the internet if he's ready. Do you have an online with Eli?
what? We didn't discuss this.
No,
Yeah, you didn't. Where were you at show prep?
I was there. Eric said he would do an online with Eli.
You know what, though? We do have a guest. We have a guest for the steps. We'll run right into the steps here. You know, can I be honest? The
Let's
internet
throw this
hasn't
at somebody
been that
else who's
funny, and
unprepared.
rightfully so. It hasn't been that funny lately. So let's.
I'm gonna copy and paste the Slack mess, or when the last time Eric said, "I'm always ready for online with Eli."
I like this. We're gonna today do an offline with Eli.
Let's just bring our guest in.
Yeah, let's bring I can bring it up. I actually do have some, but let's bring our guest up.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh wow! All
WP
right.
Nugs.
WP Nuggets, what's up, brother?
Let's
Hey, what's
go.
up, guys?
What's going on, man?
Hey.
Where are you joining us from tonight?
Actually, Fraser, Colorado.
Cool, man.
You know what I like that's there. Kale, our producer Kale is very excited about Fraser, Colorado. He's a big Fraser, Colorado guy. They have
All
that's where the barbecue festival is, right?
Yeah, probably. They have a bunch of stuff up at Winter Park Resort. I don't think I've been to that exact one. Though.
Yeah, we'll count it. We'll count it.
Yeah.
So,
They have so many festivals here. It's just hard to keep track.
can I call you something other than WP
Yeah,
Nugs? Because that's going to get difficult.
Yeah, my name is Sam.
Sam, thanks
That's
for
not what I
joining,
would have
dude.
guessed from WP Nugs.
I bet it's Winter
No,
Park.
well, it's
Nugs.
Winter Park Nugs.
Yeah.
Called it, Eric. Called it.
Let's
You
go.
cracked the code, man.
Sam, earlier in the show, we talked about whether or not an asterisk will be applied to this season, whether or not fans will embrace it. Where are you at with this? Do you care? Are you ready for basketball? Will it feel the same to you?
Well, it definitely won't feel the same.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing feels the same right now.
Well said.
But I would say that I'm just stoked for something. You know, the Michael Jordan documentary ended, and it's kind of just like, all right, well, what do I do now? the Lance Armstrong one is super depressing and just kind
I
of.
know.
It
We were
is.
talking about that earlier. Like, there's nothing. People aren't like coming together. Like, you know what? Lance really was the best. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
that guy's a dick.
I know.
Like, wow, I'm really glad he's not my neighbor. Like,
Yeah.
if I saw him
Michael-
running by on the street, I might heckling.
How do you think because I haven't seen it, how do you think the Lance Armstrong doc would do if he was the producer of it? Would he come off a little bit more complex and nuanced?
No, he does. He just seems kind of like a jerk, honestly.
Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
I think Lance
Floyd Landis would be the Jerry Krause of the Lance doc if he was the producer.
Yeah. He would have been like, everybody's doing it.
Nicely done.
That's a cycling deep cut right there.
That is
Nicely done.
I was going to say.
Very nicely done.
I do love it, though. The MJ doc.
Hey!
Is MJ a good guy? Yeah, we think so. Is Lance Armstrong a good guy? Absolutely not. These two docs gave completely different answers to that same question.
MJ apparently also a big.
All right, good stuff, Adam.
He is a big. MJ is a big.
Very big.
Yeah, he's not
He's
a guy.
6'6".
Apparently, there's a small Woj bomb, according to him.
It was Rick Carlisle saying he just spoke to Adam Silver, who admitted that he jumped the gun with his statement to TNT about coaches in their 60s and 70s might not be able to coach. So I think
the
that's
Spurs will go and pop on the bench just for fun.
yeah.
That is a very small Woj bomb.
So I have a suspicion that every coach will be able to coach their team in Disney
Dude,
World.
it's really weird. It seems to me like the coaches are worried about ageism, but doesn't this kind of seem like they're just trying to keep them alive because of the data that suggests older people are at risk?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I don't know. It's just so weird to me. They seem very ungrateful for this effort.
Yeah, but then it's like if Mike D'Antoni wasn't the coach of the Rockets anymore and he was trying to get another job with another team, they're like, oh, like he couldn't coach during the coronavirus.
Like, he's susceptible to a global pandemic. We don't want that kind of weakness in our locker room.
I think it just knocks your Q score a bit.
Can you imagine the Rockets winning it in the year that Mike D'Antoni couldn't coach?
Oh, man.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I can.
Just James
Same
Harden
kinda
on the
happened.
sideline drawing up plays on the board. Here you go, guys. This is where you pass it to me, and then I'll just score.
Yeah, it's like another ISO. All right.
Yeah, all of his charts are basically, I'll be here.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
He just has his actual face and then a bunch of X's to represent the other players. Like, here's where the ball goes, right here.
Sam, given everything you know about this proposed format and where we left off in the season, do you have a favorite to win the title?
I honestly, I think the Nuggets have a great chance.
Yes!
I think Jokic coming back in shape, and Paul Millsap
no more.
coming back healthy, and Will Barton coming back healthy, and I mean, Jokic can just pick up a basketball and just throw it in the hole. I mean,
This is
he's
true.
one of those kind of guys. So
what he
I
does.
think,
And would
he's
you-
gonna be.
Would you, WP Nugs, wearing a Nuggets hat, call yourself biased at all?
Yes,
Is this an
absolutely.
unbiased opinion?
No, man,
It's extremely biased.
He's right. I was thinking about that. Jokic gets the mental break. MPJ, who had it was rough coming back from that injury.
Yeah.
He gets the break he needs. Jamal, who's been banged up since birth, he gets an extended break. And Paul Millsap, who is Mike's age, gets.
That was not what I was doing there.
Unreal.
He gets a break too.
I think he's literally Adam's age, isn't he?
Can I? Yeah.
Well,
all right.
I'd say other than the
Wouldn't
Nuggets,
it be
though,
nice
I
if
mean,
somebody
you
else came
gotta
back hot?
go with
yeah.
the Lakers.
Get out of here, WP Nugs.
I hate to say it. I hate the Lakers. I was at the games in 2009, and kills me to say it, but I mean, come on, the league is set up for them to win.
Wouldn't you stay on that beautiful fantasy you sold us early on? You gotta come
I'm
crashing back
staying
to
with it
reality.
though. Also, anytime LeBron James goes out of the game, though, I mean, the Nuggets bench should, on paper, just destroy them. So, I mean,
Can you guys imagine just this? How sweet it would be to knock the Lakers out of this playoffs, and all the Lakers fans.
Quiet, Adam.
Hold on, because the time off and the favorite wasn't fair because
The Lakers still had the momentum.
Yeah,
from-
I think my city. I think my city would be burning again, but I would be taking marshmallows out in the front yard. So
Seems like you're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Like if you get the championship, there's probably burning. You probably should just get that fire
it's
in
the
check.
truth.
Imagine
The
LeBron
Flyers
sitting
just
at
still
his
be going.
locker. Yeah, imagine LeBron sitting at his locker and be like, "That dude Jokic, he's just too good. Just too good."
They're like his.
like, I'm
you can just
too
feel his
good.
abs every time he busted into the paint.
It's his
I
ads
need-
that
I
I
need-
need overcome.
And then we get Jokic memes with cigarettes in his mouth
Oh.
and his neck and the
yes.
yeah.
Any
Come
Can't
on.
wait.
I've
any
never-
surprises or dark horses out of the East? I mean,
No.
I think it's still the basically the main folks. But is there anybody who has an advantage out of the East to maybe progress further because of this weird format.
Yeah, of course. Everybody, in my opinion, everybody except for like Orlando and the Nets, those two teams I think have no chance. But everybody else, it's like, okay, 76ers had a terrible year. Could they come back and just like be good now? Yeah, of course. It's a whole offseason's worth of time has passed. It could be anybody.
Didn't I just see today that they changed the odds in Vegas for the Nets because they said KD might come back?
No!
Wait,
that
that's
true?
I thought KD wasn't coming back.
It may have just been something totally random I saw on social media.
Yeah, I think I saw that flying around too.
I don't know if it's actually true.
You want to talk about invalidating an entire season?
Yeah, right.
If
Steph Curry and KD back. Klay Thompson and KD back.
Golden State at least is out. They are not making the cut.
Oh, yeah,
asked if there's a team getting healthier in the comments I see there. Yeah, the Clippers. I mean, they were the team that most needed 4 months off, and they got it somehow. It's almost like they're the team of destiny in some way.
I'm taking the Clippers to win it all.
You've been on that since day one, Harrison.
I don't know how much I buy all the Clippers injury reports.
Oh, you don't think the Kawhi's even really hurting as bad as he is?
No, I think they just like to take time off.
Fair enough. Well, Sam, are you? I assume you're familiar with the program. Are you familiar with the show that's sweeping the nation?
Oh,
I'm kind of afraid. To see
are
how
you
much I
wearing
actually know.
antiperspirant? Are you ready for extreme pressure?
I'm ready.
You've got Mike here as your consultant, so you're in good hands. Producer Kale, let's get our graphic up.
Mike knows a lot about the Spanish flu, also, just in case that comes up.
Hold on, I gotta
very old things.
I gotta pull the questions up first. So that's how this goes.
Yeah. You see how that white hot heat feels when you're expected to have a list in front of you?
Yeah.
Are you wearing
While he pulls that up, let's go to online with D-Line real quick. Oh, it's not ready. Hey, Mike, why don't you read the weekend column? Oh, you're not ready. Harrison, why don't you just read an ad?
Just word for word.
An ad.
All right, hang on. I got it. We just need 5 more seconds. This is great television.
WP, what do you want the first question to be?
All right, I'm ready, Eric.
You know the rule, Mike. You get to help him here. If you're his advisor,
you're
like the good angel on his shoulder.
Question number 1: Who won Finals MVP in last year's playoffs and last year's NBA Finals?
Finals MVP was Kawhi Leonard.
That is correct. Congratulations.
I don't know why I had to think about that so long.
Because you're on the steps and it's pure pressure.
Yeah, right? It's the pressure.
We go now to question 2, which is considerably easier than question 1. Who is the coach of the San Antonio Spurs?
Oh, man, I don't know. They change coaches so often, it's hard to keep track.
Got an answer.
Greg Popovich.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope you get it wrong now.
I'm sure I'm going to get the next one wrong after making that.
Yeah, us too.
It's tough with these questions because we had Coop on last night's show. Who is probably, how old was Coop? 14 years old?
He's older
he's
than
older.
that.
Yeah. He's older.
15?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll find out after the show. Let's go to question 3. Which Warriors player won back-to-back MVPs in 2015 and 2016?
Mike. It's KD, right?
That is the way I would have called it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's KD. Final answer, Kevin Durant. Oh wait, no, it's Steph Curry.
Oh, it's too late.
What is happening?
It's Steph Curry.
Oh, guys!
Wow.
Guys!
That's tough.
Oh man! You know what
like
the saddest thing is that Mike confirmed.
WP knows. I'm so sorry.
You just threw him right off the cliff.
Yep. Lack of knowledge. Yep, I did. I pushed him. I just shoved him right off. WP knows.
I mean, look, they can't all be winners. Sometimes sometimes they're a little younger. Sometimes their health is good. Sometimes we just we don't want to give away any more coolers, you know?
No, we want that cooler. It's hot.
Victory is not guaranteed. But thanks so much, Sam, for hopping on the show. Thanks to all of you who watched tonight, who commented, and who have been hanging out with us all week long. We will come to you again tomorrow at noon for another episode of the DNBA show. Check us out on YouTube and Periscope.
Subscribe on YouTube. Help us out.
Peace. Much love.
Like all our videos on YouTube, too. Just like them all.
Comment on them all. Like them all.